I've got to sell some cars, which is really hard because I like everything that I have right now. And to normal people, it probably sounds like I just got this perfectly figured out, but I've got a couple problems with this situation. And I am selling a car this episode, so make sure you stick around to the end to see which one is leaving. I have a couple of reasons why I need to sell some cars. Here they are. First reason, and this is going to sound super first world problems. I have too many cars. And yes, that exists, even though YouTube makes you believe otherwise. If you don't have a team to help you maintain these cars or a content program that supports it, it's super difficult. If you have things that you don't want to just sit around or get neglected or kind of deteriorate. And in case you lost count, I have 7 cars. 7, that's insane. And all of them I care a lot about. They need to be washed and maintained and worked on, and they all need stuff, little or big, but they need to be properly cared for. And it's a lot. It takes up so much of my time. And there is a really simple remedy for that, and it's called paying someone to do it. I'm too cheap. And I really like taking care of my stuff. Pride and ownership is something that I've always been about, and I'm not ready to give up yet. So although it'd make my life easier, I feel like I don't deserve to have the stuff that I worked really hard for if I'm not willing to take care of it. Goddamn, it's so hot in this shop, so let's go do the next reason outside in the shade. Oh God, oh, there's no shade. It's a little bit less hot than in the shop. Second reason, I need more content to do this YouTube thing. Similarly to why I sold the FD is none of these cars really need anything. Besides the 360, all the cars are like done and don't really have anything substantial going on with them. So I sort of need a new project. And no, I don't want to become a car build channel. I love modifying cars, I love working on cars, and I love like building cars. So there'll always be some of that here. It's just what I like to do. That's not gonna go away, but I do need a new project for that. As you guys have learned, I love wheeling and dealing my way through cars, and I've been enjoying teaching you guys some tricks and tips on like how to make your way through cars, get to your next car, or just like not take a massive L. In order to do that, I have to make some sacrifices, letting some cars go so I can get new stuff to bring in to make content with. It's tough, but it's a sacrifice, and honestly, at the end of the day, it's really fun for me, and I'm gonna get something cool after, so I know it'll be worth it. And reason 3, pretty simple. I'm out of space. I mean, I rent 2 spots here. I'm always going over my allotment. Home is packed. I sent 1 car to New York. Space is expensive here in California. You don't really want to leave cars outside too much if it's something you care about. People on the East Coast, they all worry about rust. Well, we have this unrelenting sun to worry about. I actually have a perfect example right outside. Sorry to blast the homies, but you know, this is one of their race cars, so I don't really care. Clear coat issues like this is from just cooking outside in the sun. A lot of cars in California look like this. The sun just beats up on them all day. So it'll oxidize headlights, it'll cook your paint, your clear coat right off. Obviously it damages all of your trim and rubber work. I don't want to leave cars outside. Even stuff like my Mark II GTI, like that car is in great condition for its age, and I'm not really willing to let it deteriorate in the sun and go to crap. You always got to find indoor storage. It's expensive, hard to come by. So the plan is to sell 3 cars, and one of them is leaving this video. The other 2 will be listed for sale. So if you're interested to know which ones those are, or you're maybe interested in buying one of them, stick around to the end. I'll tell you where to find them. But here's my thought process on the cars that I do have on the chopping block. The first one I've considered is the F80. After a lifetime of being garage kept, that car now lives outside. And for all the reasons I just spoke about, I feel too guilty to let that car sit outside all day in the sun. So for all that, I think I would rather sell that car and buy something a bit cheaper, so I'm not as worried about it sitting outside all day. And then we have the E36 race car. And this is my ultimate love-hate relationship that you guys have witnessed. I'm having a bad time. Wasn't it? Super impressed. I think it's gonna be a good car. The most intensive, craziest build I've done to date. I love this car. It's super cool. It looks amazing. It's unbelievably fast. It's a really crazy car. But I don't use it as much as I thought I would, and I feel like it is a Hoonigan project that sort of ended with Hoonigan, and there's not a ton left to do to it. I almost think I would rather sell this car, take a massive loss, and start a new project for you guys, it's also really hard to see something that I put so much time and effort into go. It's a really tough decision. And then there's this, my 997 GT3 RS, the absolute coolest car in the world to me. For all you guys that don't know why this car is so cool and why I think it's so great, first off, it is the last ever GT3 RS that came with a manual transmission. They're also super rare. They only made 543 of these that came to the United States. This is a tremendously special car. It is my absolute dream car. When I moved to California, I always wanted a GT3. I remember watching one of them autocross all the way back Nassau County days. And then when I moved to California, I used to run canyons in my E36 M3 every weekend. And I saw one of these ripping up Latigo Canyon in Malibu. That is the car that I need to have in my life. It is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I never thought it was possible, but I have a really big problem with it. Because these cars are so rare, they have exploded in value after kind of COVID when all the cars got expensive. And while a lot of common cars have sort of came back down to reality or close, these have stayed up and have continued to sell for more and more every single time. These cars are selling for between $300,000 and $400,000. Is it worth it? Sure, because I think in the long run, there's only gonna become less of these because, you know, things happen. And they also just get stuffed in car storages and collector garages, so you don't see a lot of them. For a lot of people, they're buying them to hold their money because these cars are only gonna continue to go up in value. Once it sells, I can never buy another one. Which I think is really tough because selling this car will give me a lot of opportunity to put money into things like Drivers Era and the YouTube channel. I can buy cars that I could build to be somewhat comparable. Will I be happy with those? I don't know. And that's the problem. The regret I'll feel from getting rid of this car will be brutal. And like I said, everything else that I sell, I feel like I could replace. But if I sell this car, I don't think I'll ever be able to afford to buy another one. And then there's the cheapest, most trouble-free, and most reliable car I have, and it's the drift car. This thing is great, and it gives me no problems, but I spend more in storage per year than this car is worth, and that feels really stupid to me. The intention of this car was to have a Hoonigan yard beater, but Hoonigan's gone. Well, Hoonigan yard is gone. This doesn't have the same purpose as it did anymore. To be honest, I want a drift car, but I want something that I could also street drive to get more use out of it. While this thing is pretty great, it may be time to pass this on to someone else who can use it as their practice car and something they can use to go out and thrash on. I'm really fortunate to have the network that I do, and I always joke that if you ask nicely, I'll sell you my car. Well, I had someone reach out, they expressed interest in one of the cars, and we spoke for a while. He was actually serious. He's flying out to California tomorrow to pick up the car. All right, today's the day. We got the buyer showing up. Got here a couple minutes early just to get the car prepped. Oh, and Maya's already here. If you ever think about coming to the speakeasy to steal cars, you're gonna have to deal with that. And Sam, who's finally working on the Mark IV R32 that everyone talks about. All right, guys, first car on the chopping block, the E36. I think we all kind of knew it, and I feel really bad because at the end of my last video with the car, I said that I promised that next time you saw the car, we'd do something fun with it. Well, I guess this is pretty fun for me. The E36 is gonna be leaving us. Honestly, pretty hard decision. I'll explain more about why I'm gonna sell this car and what I'm gonna do with the money. Let's get to getting this car sold first, and then we'll talk about that later. Hit me with the start sequence, Sam.
Let's see, we've got blue dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Nice. I actually think you forgot one too. Radiator. and the dash. So there's actually 9 buttons. What up, boys? How's it going? We're coming in hot. Dude, where'd you just come out from?
Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia. You live out here?
I do live out here.
What up?
Grateful to be here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. I always joke and say, like, ask nicely and I'll sell you my car. Jeremy here slipped into the DMs. At first, I wasn't sure if you were really interested, but then you, like, really put in a lot of questions and stuff. And I was like, this dude seems pretty serious. And you don't even know what the hell he's buying.
Clueless. I was trying to guess. Gave me some hints, and I honestly could not pinpoint it. No way, dude.
Man, I can't believe you didn't tell him. That's a crazy situation. So I didn't even start it today. I wanted to make sure you got like a full 100% cold start so you could see like how this thing does. All right, so first order of business, gonna take Jeremy out for a quick ride, show him kind of the ins and outs of this thing before handing over the money and then the keys, and then I'll let you take it for a spin. There's a lot to learn with this, or maybe this guy totals it and then you go home, I collect an insurance check. What do you think? First test drive.
Yeah, man, rides really well. Crazy loud.
Sounds like a friggin' NASCAR for the street. Hopefully back east they don't care as much.
This is a perfect daily driver, really.
We're gonna take off, go do some rollers, and let him enjoy this car for a couple minutes. He wanted to take it out to the mountains, but I advised him against doing that here in the middle of the day in California. So he'll have to wait till he gets back to Virginia to enjoy it. Back in the R32, how's it feel? But the R32 is one of the best sounding factory exhaust cars. I'm making Sam do an Italian tune-up on this thing.
Not even a check engine light.
Oh my God. That's what that thing sounds like from the outside on the street. It's so loud. That car out on the street before from this perspective. It looks so fucking cool. Now I'm kind of sad about selling it. What's your impression? Yo, it looks insane on the street. If you could keep the exhaust how it sounds, I would keep it. It sounds nuts. Start. and squeeze. I cannot believe I just sold that car. It's still sort of sinking in. I don't know if I'm gonna be too regretful about it, but it was a hard decision to make. I felt like it was the right thing to do. In a way, I sort of felt like the E36 was a Hoonigan project and then just sort of got tossed over onto my channel, and it never quite felt right there. And I feel like it's actually best that I just sort of end that chapter and let someone else enjoy that car and make it into what they want. This way, I can start something new, because if I've learned anything from doing YouTube and the Ferrari project, it's that you guys really seem to enjoy me going out and finding a car and then you guys coming along that journey from start to whenever we finish it. I think that the journey of a new car will be more fun for not only myself, but for you guys as well. So now this car is next to go for sale. The F80 is going to be listed soon. If you're interested in buying this, I'll make sure that I actually list it before this episode goes up, and I'll put it in the pinned comment. The F80's next. This is gonna go, and then I'm gonna sell the yellow drift car. I wanna get something that's more streetable and driftable, so I think I wanna pass that along to someone who can go out and use that as their practice car, their thrasher car, something to get comfortable drifting. It's a great car, but I don't really need it right now. So, what's next? I don't really know yet, but that's sort of the fun. I've had a lot of really awesome cars. I sort of love the hunt. Looking for cars is part of the enjoyment. So, I have a couple things on my mind that I want. I've owned most of the 90s JDM Hero cars, but I've never had a GTR, so I think I'd buy a nice R32 GTR if I could find one. Otherwise, I really want a 4-door turbo manual rear-wheel drive car. Thinking something like a R34 Skyline or a Chaser, or maybe do like a GS build. I don't know, but that's kind of where my mind's at right now. We'll see. We're gonna search. We're gonna try to find something good. I'm gonna take you guys along with the journey. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Making videos every Thursday, maybe more eventually, but I appreciate all your support. But for now, I'm out.